completing my Alphabet for Action for Possibility Thinkers. And I have a Bible text that I want to put before you before I go up to the blackboard or the whiteboard. And that is, Jesus said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Alpha, of course, is the letter A in the Greek alphabet. Omega is equivalent to our Z in our alphabet. He's the first letter, he's the last letter. The letter A, we said, stands for affirming. Possibility thinkers begin with affirmations. I am somebody, therefore I can do something. If I know that God is my Father and I am his child, and if Jesus Christ is my closest personal friend, there is no reason for me to ever have an inferiority complex. Not at all. I am as good as any other living human being on planet Earth, no matter what my color, no matter what my culture, no matter what my academic credentials are. Makes no difference. I don't care what your IQ is or what my IQ is. We are equal in the sight of God as precious persons. I affirm that. That's the beginning of possibility thinking. And that positive self-image is not rooted in hollow boasting. It is rooted in a relationship that I have with Jesus Christ. I was recalling a few years ago when I made a speech in St. Louis, Missouri. I'll never forget it, because I came to town, unpacked my suit, and I was in my hotel at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was to go on the stage at 6:30 to deliver a speech at a big, important convention. I took the suit out, and guess what? I hadn't worn the suit in 4 months, and I had lost 38 pounds in those 4 months. And the trousers was the kind that required a belt, and I didn't have a belt. And that's bad enough. But can you imagine me delivering a lecture without ever raising my arms? I thought the only way I can pull this speech off is for me to stand with this gesture for 40 minutes, you know? And that I felt was totally unthinkable. I looked for a big safety pin, I couldn't find it. I looked for a wire clothes hanger, thinking I could screw the thing together back here. I gave that up. I just love problems like this. I mean, I really do. I find them extremely challenging. I called the front desk. I said, is there a tailor in town? They said, Dr. Schuller, it's almost 5 o'clock. They close, I think, about this time. Of course, they say you can always try Mr. Harris, the tailor in the mall. So I quick trotted down there, and I went in there with my pair of trousers, and they had that we're going to close up soon look. And I said, can you take my trousers in? He said, yes, but that'll take a couple of hours. We'd have to hold one of our tailors over. I said, Mr. Harris, at the hotel they told me that Mr. Harris was the greatest tailor in town, if not in the whole state of Missouri. Is that true? Well, he says, I've been at it quite a while. I said, Mr. Harris, I have a friend in House of Tailoring in Orange, California, who could do this job for me in 20 minutes. You say it'd take you 2 hours? He said, we can do it in 18. He said, wait in the lonely room. So I sat in the room in my shorts, getting chilly. Finally, 18 minutes later, out of the sky, through the opening in the top of the dressing room, fell my trousers. Boy, I'll tell you, they fit snug. And I said to Mr. Harris, I knew you could do it. I've got faith. He said, you sound like a religious guy. In fact, he said, haven't I seen you someplace? I said, could be. Are you a minister? I said, yes. Oral Roberts. What's your religion like anyway? I said, well, first of all, it's really not a religion. in the sense that most religions, are made up of regulations. You can't do this and you'll have to do that. It's not it. And it's not restrictions. You may go here or you may go there. It's really not that. It's not really regulations, and it's not really restrictions. And it's not just a ritual where we recite the same prayers that we memorize. It's not restrictions. It's not regulations. It's not just a ritual. It's a relationship that I have with somebody who's become my best friend. And his name is Jesus Christ. That's what I believe. The alphabet for action starts with affirmation. I am a friend of Christ, and he's your friend. You don't have to take a back seat to anybody. A, affirm, I can do it. B, believe that it's possible. C, make the commitment, and after you make commitment, you solve the problems. I have never seen a solution to a single problem that blocked the pathway toward my achieving my goal until I had made the commitment. The plunge must come before the solution. Affirm, believe, commit, dare. Educate, get smart. Find the time, find the energy, find the financial resources, find the funds. We started this ministry with $500 and a 40-year dream. And we've been searching for God's way, and we found it. Fine, give it all you've got. H, hope. Hope is what keeps the energy going, is what keeps you from getting discouraged. I imagine that the good will happen, and the imagination becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy. A, J, junk, the junk food. Self-pity, discouragement, rejections, failures, setbacks, discouragements, lousy investments. All of that is junk food. Get rid of it. K, knock out discouragement. L, laugh, keep a sense of humor. And M, make it happen. Nothing happens until you make it happen. N, negotiate, compromise, give and take. Overlook and overcome. Persevere, quit complaining, reorganize, share. Share the credit, share the glory, share your thanks. T, trade-off. You may have to trade off one value for another value, because the problem in life, for most of us, it's not choosing between the good and the bad. That's easy. It's not difficult to choose between what's right and what's wrong. What's tough is choosing between two goods that compete, the trade-off. Then you'll unlock tremendous faith, hope, and love. You'll keep going. Visualize ultimate success. Now, we're up to V, W, X, Y, Z. And some of you have had 3 weeks' time to think about the verbs that start with W, X, Y, Z. W, what do we have? Students? I'll stop right there and take it. Work. There is no substitute for work. None at all. I happen to be a friend of some very fine people in the entertainment industry, and the other night we had dinner with Roger Williams, and Roger plays for us, contributes his services. He's like a member of this church, like Chester Hairston. So we took him out to dinner, said, thanks for all you've done for us, Roger. Got to be about 10 o'clock, and he said, well, I got to go. What are you going to do? Get to bed early? Oh, no. He said, I got to get to work. What do you mean work? Oh, rehearsal. He said, I'll go home. I'll rehearse from 10 o'clock till about 2. I'll sleep for about 3 or 4 hours. I'll get up and spend another 2 hours. I said, you do that every day? He said, oh, yes, every day. You want to know something? The people at the top of the ladder are working harder than ever. Why? They got into a habit of working hard. There is no substitute for it. Success is spelled W-O-R-K. Now, if you went through college and if you flunked a course, or if you didn't come up with a grade average, it isn't because you're not smart enough. It's because you just didn't apply yourself. The difference in IQ isn't that significant when you get into a college level. The difference is in application. Work. WX. Okay, what does X stand for? It's got to be a verb. X-ray. By this time, if you're pursuing a job, if you're on your way toward a goal, if you've got a dream and you've gotten this far, then it's high time you stop once more and you X-ray your deepest motives. You ask yourself, what do I really want to accomplish? The first question. Second question, because there you're dealing with your motives, you see. You have to do it with yourself. Nobody else. Then you'll dare to be honest, you see. All by yourself, you ask, what do I really want? Then you ask a second question. If I keep going the way I am, will I get there? Then you ask a third question. If I get there, will I be happy? And will that really fulfill me at my deepest level? That's what you call X-ray. You know what? By that time, you'll be ready for the Y. And the Y then will stand for yield. There's a great verse in the book of Romans. Paul says, yield your life to God. When it's all said and done, long before you come to the Z, you should have done this. But by the time you've really taken a look at where have I come from? What do I want? Where am I going? Will I be happy if I get there? When you finish that in-depth probe of your own life, your own motives, then you've got to be ready to yield it all to God. You know, by the time you get through the X-ray, you may find out that you've been after the world, but neglecting your own soul. And Jesus said it. What does it profit a man if he gained the whole world, loses his own soul? By the time you finish the X-ray, you will see something on the black of your mind. I've said about a person, well, actually, I won't name the name, but I've said it about a person. I've said that man has such high moral and ethical integrity in his business that if you took a moral and a spiritual and an ethical X-ray of him and put it up on the board and flipped the light on and you saw the insides, you'd say, wow, he's in great shape. Haven't seen one like that in a long time. Some of you listening to me, you look at the X-ray and you won't like what you see. So you've been making a lot of money? It's great. I tell people, make all the money you can, legally. Save all you can, then give all you can. You're on target. But if dollars becomes an end in itself, then what? X-ray. What does it profit if you gain the whole world, lose your own soul? Wherever you're at, you're ready for the Y. Yield yourselves to God because you're very close to the Z. And the Z stands for the end. And when you get to the end, how do you want to get there? You know, Humphrey said it to me shortly before he died, the late Senator Humphrey. He wanted to come to the end of his life with pride behind him, love around him, and hope ahead of him. See, how will you come to your end? What will it be like? And after life, what do you take with you? If you leave it behind, who gets it? You're getting close to an important issue. I met this man on a plane. Household word, I suppose, though I did not recognize his face. He came up to me maybe a year or two ago. His voice was something else. He said, Dr. Schuller, I want to tell you, I like you on television. I said, thank you. My wife and my mother, they never miss you either. I said, thank you. He said, my name is Bear Bryant. I said, wow. At that point, I stood up. And I said, sit down. So he sat. I said, you're talking about religion. And then he said, I said, well, you're a Christian, I assume? He said, well, I don't know. I really don't know if I'm a Christian or not. I don't think maybe I am. I said, well, don't you believe in Jesus? Yeah, I believe in Jesus, sure. Well, I said, why do you say you're not a Christian? Well, he said, first of all, I don't have the feeling. I listen to these born-again Christians and they got a feeling. I don't think I have that feeling. He said, I've talked to Billy Graham, I've talked to Oral Roberts, now I'm talking to you. Still don't have that feeling. Second thing, he said, there's some things in the Bible I just cannot understand. I mean, it says in the Bible that this prophet sent some bears and some little kids, and the bears ate little kids up. He said, I don't think God would want a bear to eat little kids up. I said, what else? He said, the third thing is I do some things I shouldn't do. He says, look, I'm smoking. I shouldn't smoke if I was a Christian. I said, Coach, if I may call you that, Coach, I want to be your coach on the spiritual thing. Christian is not somebody who understands and believes in every word in that Bible. It's not the definition of a Christian. And when you get to heaven, God isn't going to say, do you believe in every word of the Bible? That's not the judgment. I think Christians all believe the Bible is the Word of God, but there may be some things they have difficult understanding. That's not the judgment issue. You're not saved by the book, you're saved by the blood. Point number two, it's not feeling, it's faith. I've never had that overwhelming emotional experience. I have to agree with you. I never had a moment when I was born again and I cried and one day it was black and the next day it's white. I never had that. It's faith, not feeling. The third thing, it's surely not a matter of, are you a perfect person? I have my sins too. I don't smoke anymore, thank God. I'm not perfect. He said, I sure wish that I knew that if the end comes that I'd go to heaven. I said, well, I can help you there. And I took a piece of paper and I wrote the Bible verse of Jesus. Jesus said, him that cometh unto me I will in no wise cast out. Quote, Jesus Christ. I said, look at that, Coach. That's a promise of Jesus. That's why I know that when my end comes, I'm going to step into the sunshine and not into the darkness. There will be eternal daylight, not eternal darkness for me. I believe in heaven. If I believe in a yes, there's got to be a no. If I believe in light, there's got to be darkness. If I believe in heaven, there has to be a hell. Not everybody's going to heaven. I hope not, or you might end up with Hitler as a roommate. And that would turn heaven into a hell. He said, Coach, when I go there, I'm going to be carrying in my hand and in my heart this promise of Jesus. Him that comes to me, I will in no wise cast out. He's my friend. Jesus would never turn a friend away. You believe that? He said, yes, sir. So I drew a straight line, dated it, and said, signed. I said, okay, Coach. Gave the pen, sign it. He looked, he said, well, I don't know if I can be sure if I should sign that or not today. I said, well, I can't be sure that this plane is going to land either. He said, I'll sign it. He signed it. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. If you live by this creed, x-ray your motives, yield it all to God, you come to the end and you can zip it up. And face whatever is ahead of you, and with Christ as your friend, you can be proud. Thank you very much. Let us rise for the closing prayer. And now, our Father, in this very moment, there is a blank piece of paper being handed to every person who is listening to the spoken word. On the paper, Jesus, is your offer of eternal salvation. Jesus Christ, all you ask is for us to sign it, to accept you, to receive you. You'll be our friend. We'll be in this thing together. And we can't lose with you. I accept you, Jesus Christ, now. Forgive me, save me, be my friend. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Amen.